Okay, recording this video after close trade Monday, the 2nd of May 2016. Hope you had a great weekend and a great first day's trading day of the week. So, going to make this really quick, but I just want to talk about wiggle room on the indicators because sometimes you got to give your indicators just a little bit of wiggle room. And I'm going to show you 2 or 3 examples of that over the last several days and how to think about them, or at least how I think about them. So, first of all, let's go back to this dollar index chart. Hey. So after it topping out with pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frames, all these dots, then on the intermediate time frame, this dot here, and then the highest time frame, pullback to end of trend, bang, we'd maxed out and we'd broken into this downtrend, and it got quite a lot of pushback. Well, it's kind of gentle banter kind of pushback on my sayonara US dollar video the other day. And I was just talking, I think the US dollar is weak at the moment, and the yen is particularly strong, and now the euro is kind of also pretty strong as well, and so the dollar index is kind of dropping off. So we started after this kind of really nice setup with all of these end of trend signals kind of going on. I couldn't believe it was going to roll around with that, and it took me quite a while to figure out that this was going to fail here. I was thinking maybe we were going to punch through again and go for another kind of trending move, because this exhaustion buy happened so long ago. It was almost like 9 months prior to the actual market kind of topping out. So I thought maybe we'd have to go for another exhaustion type patterns up here, but no, it was enough to kind of roll us over. But the downtrend started with this break, really solid break, and then we get a nice kind of low risk entry point kind of coming in here, and we come back and bounce. Now what would have been beautiful was for us to just bounce right off this resistance on this lowest time frame here and just kind of sink down, and all of these bars subsequent to that little bounce would have been white, and so it been a continuation of this downtrend. But what we got was one solitary little break here. You can see it was a close above that resistance, which kind of triggered us into the system saying, well, actually that's showing a little bit of strength, because in a proper downtrend like we just had this resistance coming on the daily time frame a few days ago, we just bounced straight off it and then bang, down on the downside. But we were still kind of in congestion, so you get these little areas where you can just overshoot fractionally. It's that I want to talk about, just this one single like outlier in this kind of downtrend where we get a break above a resistance line in this case to show some strength, that is a little bit problematic. You would never read it as a break into an uptrend because we've got the exhaustion buys going on, we've got the pullback to end of trends kind of going on, but it's just showing a little bit of strength there, and that's a little bit of wiggle room where you just got to give the indicator, you got to say, I don't really believe that that's a proper break into a kind of strength or an uptrending move. That was maybe just a little bit of overshoot showing a little bit of over strength, and then it kind of turns around, starts breaking through the support levels, and we're back into a downtrend here. But anyways, that's a little bit of an instance where you've got to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room interpreting the indicators. So that's a daily chart of the dollar index, and so the dollar index is sinking pretty fast actually. We're down to 18-month kind of lows here when you kind of go back the last time we were at this level, beginning of 2015. All right, long-term chart. Here we go. Now this is, let me just show you where the daily breaks are. So this was today's activity. This is the overnight, Sunday evening into the Monday morning. This is today's activity. This was Friday's activity where we had a reversal day. And then this is Thursday where we also had a reversal day where we kind of peaked all these blue professional bars taking profits, and then we got into this downtrend going on here. So again, the trending system here is kind of showing us weakness, 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 and then we don't turn around until we get pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame, and that's an early signal. You can see it's kind of not a fully bright red, it's just a dark red color. Then pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame, and then we've got exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence, and flush going on here, and then bang, we break into this uptrend for the end of Friday into Monday's activity. So we had this nice downtrend, we had this nice kind of V reversal kind of uptrend, and this thing on the way up, we need to ideally see exhaustion buys, pullback to end of trends, and so on. So we're in a little bit of a a strengthening kind of period here where we're going to ride this up. But again, let's talk about a little wiggle room. This little dot here. We'd found ourselves kind of falling into this downtrend. We'd had exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, actually printed there in a flush signal, and then all of a sudden, once we had this final rally back up, we broke through supports and we're into downtrend. But at this point here, again, we get a single solitary little break, tiny little break above a pullback to end of trend here. And all of a sudden the system's saying, well, actually, you know, if we were in a strong downtrend, we'd have just bounced off that pullback level and just kept on going down here. And at that point there, we get a little singular dot that comes in, and we get a little bit of strength kind of showing on the trending system. And that, again, you got to give yourself a little wiggle room. You got to say, okay, a single print, that's not enough to like convince me that we're kind of breaking into an uptrend or this downtrend is kind of violated. But that's just a little bit of wiggle room where you see a kind of single solitary dot here. The system can identify these dots like this one here, where we're in a strong downtrend, and it just negates that one where we get a couple here where we're kind of coming into this just pullback resistance area kind of going on here, and the system can tell that we're still in a strong downtrend, and it kind of overrides those. But in instances where here it's like thinking, well, we got support on the intermediate time frame, which is these dots here, support on the highest time frame, the solid dots here, and we've had this kind of, we're making out this pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame. Maybe we're going to catch and we're going to break into an uptrend. So I can't, you know, justify a rule that comes in there that says we should just negate that little dot. But you got to just give yourself a little wiggle room. And then today's activity. So here we go. This was today's activity, what's going on. This was the open on Monday. A lot of volatility because we had all these numbers coming out around 8:45 and 9 a.m. We had the PMI manufacturing, ISM manufacturing and construction numbers going on. So we had quite a lot of kind of moving backwards and forwards in between these kind of channels. But, you know, I always say play the channels if you can. Look at resistance, resistance, resistance on 3 time frames all coming together, and we can't get through, and we just crash down. And again, support, support, support on 3 time frames coming in here, and we come back to test, and again support, support, support. You can see there kind of going on there. So you can see, keep, you know, trading within the, you know, the boundaries, or you know, using the guides, the highest time frame, kind of get you going in the right direction. Now on this one, I'd try to go short at this break because I'd seen this exhaustion sell and we kind of floated back up and then crashed back down. I was thinking, well, you know, we could easily kind of crash through those support levels here. It was showing weakness on the trending system, so maybe we're going to kind of you know, crash through these and kind of keep going to the downside. So I was short at 61. Had to get out at a loss of 63 when we had this bounce back, which is fine. You had 2-point loss, easy to kind of handle. And then we start breaking into an uptrend. All of a sudden we've got you know, a break above resistance going on here on the 1 time frame. So it's starting to think we've got some strength going on. We also show a bullish divergence on exhaustion. So here we go. That's the bullish divergence pattern here. Bang, bang. So all of a sudden now that's looking like a setup. But what do you know? We have a single little break which shows a little bit of weakness because we just momentarily kind of closed below that support. Again, in a proper setup, in a strong trending market, we'd have just bounced off that support, as we did. You know, the subsequent supports kind of going on here. And we just had a single breakdown here, but it was coming out of a bullish divergence pattern kind of coming in here. We had some nice blue professional down bars into this setup, so it just momentarily triggered a little bit of weakness kind of going on here until we started to break our 2 time frames, lowest and intermediate time frame, bang, for a nice kind of runaway move. So again, give yourself a little bit of wiggle room, start to kind of doubt some of these little single print kind of plots here when they're at the wrong place, basically, you know, as we're setting up this kind of uptrend. So got in at 62.50 as we were breaking out into this move here, and I'd moved my target out to 6 points because I had a 2-point loss on that first trade when I tried to go short, and that was nice. That was out at 68.50. So a 2-point loss, 6-point winner, net 4 after 2 trades into this pullback to end of trend sequence here. I was actually out on that little left shoulder as it kind of peeked through there, which was nice. But anyway, so just remember that's a little wiggle room is required. Then, you know, would you ever go short, you know, when we start to see this weakness into 11 a.m.? It's like, no, we'd never seen exhaustion buy today. Remember that. Exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence. Exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence, flush, holding us at this point here. We didn't see exhaustion buys until much later on in the day. And by then, the 11 a.m. window had shut. here's our 11 a.m. Point, kind of down here. Yeah, it was showing weakness, but we'd not exhaustion bought kind of up here. So when this strength kind of came in, we broke into this uptrend. This is a beauty of a setup, a low risk entry point kind of going in there. And you can see those blue professional bars kind of coming in here and here, and on that little dip and that break. So anyway, so there we go. Just wanted to talk about giving yourself a little bit of wiggle room. It's not pure system trading that I'm doing. It's kind of a lot less discretionary than I have been doing in the past. It's far more kind of driven by the system. But occasionally you need to override some of these little kind of single plots where you think, it's in the wrong spot. Can't be kind of trading against that and just wait for confirmation. Alrighty, so looking forward to the rest of the week. Hope your trading is going well. And I'll tag on that day trade from today. Okay, just got long 62.50, long 62.50. Checking the stops and targets, and I'm just moving my target up. Got a 2-point loss on that first trade, trying to go short, and yeah, jumped out just because we had a break, but it didn't work. And ISM manufacturing number needed to come out. Now my kind of data was bursting a little bit. Hopefully it's kind of smoothed out a little bit now. So exhaustion sell bullish divergence going to come in, and we got cyclical support on the 4500. This support's just coming on 1500. Just had a blue professional down bar. It's almost like a U-turn. We need to get up above this second one that came in on 500. We started to break into an uptrend here, and we came back to a low risk entry point, and it just overshot this little support here, and that's why it's kind of triggered possible weakness and possible downtrend. But in the background we've got exhaustion, sell bullish divergence come in, so we've got a triple. So we've got, see, the data is kind of bursting at the moment. I don't like that. It was handling the ISM number when it came out at 9 pretty well, and then it just kind of went a bit goofy. Anyway, so support on the highest time frame, on the intermediate time frame. Come on, no, we shouldn't be testing that far down. We should have got above this. Came in very briefly, and then resistance came in. So testing. Maybe I'm in too early. So we should have been waiting for this, proper break above resistance doesn't get us into this uptrend. But anyway, so each of these kind of dips down. We seem to be holding. So I'm back up to entry. Amateur up bars. Anyway, so we got support to resistance play out on the 4500. This is a critical level, so this needs to hold. It's all amateur up bar stuff, not particularly good. Blue professional bar comes in. Okay, so seemingly we're bouncing off these supports, so let's get above a nice resistance line and get into another uptrend. Kind of confirmed here, strength. Here we go. Alright, let's hold on for the ride. Alright, here we go. Now we got the break above two resistance lines on intermediate and lowest time frame. No blue professional bars taking profits here, even on the 500, which is good. And we're coming back up to the high of the day. And there we go, we got our double break here. So it's like a little fraction of weakness. We came back, a little overshoot of the low risk entry point, and we kind of go the other way. So we got our bullish divergence in place. We're playing out support. This triple support was really nice. As soon as that kind of held, it was likely we're going to break resistances and we head up. So a 4-point target would be 66.50, which is just up here. But I got that 2-point loss on the first trade, so trying to make that up. So my target's at 8.5. So Rambo pattern exhaustions. It's kind of getting the move going almost with this exhaustion. That's a fairly decent reading here. So let's bust out of this channel, get above 66s. Alright, so the high during the day session is 66. The high pre-open is 66.50. So there's going to be a nice opportunity for a stop run just up here between kind of 66, 67-ish in that area. So once that gets kind of triggered, That's gonna hopefully take me to the 68.5. Don't wanna jinx it. Here we go. So 66.25 got hit. I've got a little bit of time to run here. Support to resistance. No blue professional bars coming, taking profits yet. And you can see that buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, because we came up the highs, and then we got this thing going. So here we go. Okay, here we go. We got 66.5 hit. So round here, there's going to be a bunch of stops. Okay, blue professional up bar. But cultural resistance on these two time frames, we've probably got to make pull back end of trend, at least on the 500. So come on, around here there's got to be a stop run. 67s quarter. What's going to do it? It's usually going to little 67.50. 8.5 is what I'm after. It's kind of slow and gradual kind of push rather than a real explosive. 8.25. That was a little bit of a stop run. Come on. Half. Come on, take me out. Bingo. Out. 68.50. Excellent. For a 6. Very nice. Lost 2 on the first, 6 on the second. So up 4, 2 trades. And that's me done for the day at 9:16 a.m. Nice, nice, nice. So it's probably going to run a little bit longer because we've got to go pull back end of trends, at least on the 500. And probably exhaustion buy to mirror this exhaustion sell on which was, how big a reading was that? That was 8.5, yeah, so we haven't got anything like that yet. So that's fine, that's good, I'm very happy. Done, done, done.